Lindsay, thank you. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Sorry, Nicole. Public comment. I think you'll have another opportunity at the end of the meeting if you'd like. Thank you for being here. 2024-25 audit presentation from Anderson Tackman. Good morning.
Good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good. Thanks for being here, sort of.
Yes, the spirit. All right, so all right, I'll just jump right into it.
Perfect, go ahead.
Okay. Kenneth Talsma our team performed the 2025 audit for the DDA. With our audits, the financial one, making sure that all the financial information compiled by the authority for the year is accurate and can be supported by evidence, and follows the proper accounting principles as well as internal controls and standards that the state has as well. So we look at a lot of documentation, receipts, the stuff behind them, invoices, contracts, agreements, payroll information, tax information for the tax capture, all those things. So at the end of all that, we get a good enough feeling and enough evidence gathered, we can give our opinion. And the opinion's on the first page of the audit report, and it's called the Independent Auditor's Report. And it starts right off with opinions. So that's the crux of the audit. We can give one of four. There's the adverse opinion when there was issues or discrepancies with the information, financial information and the evidence. So that's not always a good one, or maybe accounting principles aren't being followed. Also, there's a disclaimer of an opinion when there isn't information to support things. There is a modified opinion, which they used to call piecemeal, meaning maybe most things are okay, but maybe an area isn't or is weaker, like maybe like your depreciation for the fixed assets isn't being done, but everything else is good. And then the last is the unmodified, or what they call the clean opinion. And that's what you had for 2025 is the unmodified. And that's the one usually everyone likes to get. Next thing we'll look at the MD&A section, which follows our letter. It's kind of a nice, gives area to kind of show how things have changed and what kind of what's important that's happened during the year. So the page 5 kind of shows the balance sheet of the authority, and overall the assets are down a little bit from like $1,013,000 to about $919,000. And I think it's the current assets like cash and receivables and non-current like long-term receivables and assets. Then your liabilities are up a little, maybe about $20,000. And then the invested in capital, or the net position, which is kind of like fund balance, is down about $592,000. So that's kind of where on page 6, that shows like the income statement for the authority and shows the revenues that have come in, as well as what was spent. The charges for services, that are kind of direct revenues of the authority, were up to about $4,300 from $1,500. Operating grants, we got a bit less than money for grants this year, $24,000. But usually the expenditures, when you get those grants, there's equal expenditures for what they're given for, so it's spent. So it's kind of a net. Property taxes has continued to do a little bit better, up to $428,000 captured for 25. So that's good that that's staying stronger. Your interest income actually improved quite a bit this year to $31,000. Like you've had the investments shifted to the My class, which the city's in, a lot of governments are in, and that's earning quite a bit better. We've actually been recommending to all the governments lately that, we kind of got lulled into a period after the year 2000 of interest rates were never so good anymore. And finally in these last few years, they're really good. And it's kind of time to pay attention and make sure it's, the excess cash flow is being invested better to get better rate of return. The other thing too that's happening is there's these different investments that also have better insurance coverage and can give you more coverage than the standard. I think it's I think it's 250,000 per interest bearing, and then another 250 for non-interest bearing, which I think is, you guys' cash is okay based on that criteria. But for like cities and stuff, it's kind of an opportunity to get things invested in more investments that provide better insurance coverage, even so you can get more kind of safety if it's ever needed. So a good time for looking at investing and making sure you're kind of doing the best and getting also what you want with that. Then your expenditures, kind of spent more for downtown development this year, 602,000 up from 388,000. If we want to kind of look at the areas of what areas we spent on, we'll skip to page 12 of the report itself. It shows the broad function is community and economic development for the DDA. And then you spend in areas of like for your office expenses, personnel consulting, 100,000, design committee, 110, economic restructuring, 240, leases, 20,000, professional fees, 106, marketing promotions, 16,000. And that comes up to 597,000. So you're spending kind of a equal amount in all these different areas and promoting the development of the downtown. So overall, you still had enough fund balance to absorb the decrease of 107,000 for the year. So that's good. You're still easily over the 10 to 15% they recommend to have as a safety net, landing at 591,000. So I think even though you spent a little bit more and kind of dipped into your fund balance, you still are okay. The one thing I always mention with the state, if you have 3 years of doing it in a row, they'll send out a letter saying, hey, you've had expenses in excess of revenues, and we're kind of concerned if you're kind of getting into a bad trend or something. But what is going on, or you're in difficulty in these things. Usually it just requires a response, and also saying that you have adequate fund balance and kind of plan like your budget plans and things, and that you're kind of will be healthy at the end of the day, and then they're okay. But I think a pretty good audit. No big issues. Say we always have what we find in what we put in the 3 categories of like material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, and comments. And I think the only areas that we kind of identified were there's some new GASBs that are kind of on the horizon. It's kind of changed the reporting presentation, or will in the next few years. I think it's GASB 103. So it's kind of adds on to the report and kind of will add more information, which they always like in government with their reports. If you compare it to the private sector, the private sectors are pretty thin and condensed, but government likes more information. But so that's a change on the horizon. We always like to kind of start working on those things ahead of time and getting ready to get training, education, whatever you can about them for people who do your accounting. It's always a good idea. But otherwise, I think a pretty clean audit. And I say there's some highlights with doing better with the interest earnings and your tax cap. You're staying healthy. So, any questions?
Guess that means you did a good job, Ken.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess no questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
All right. Thank you. If anything ever comes up, or you think of anything or question, even late during the year, you can get a hold of everybody, email, call us, and we're around for you year round. So
Excellent. Thank you very much.
all right. Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Do you have to accept the audit or anything like that?
I don't think we do. Andrew, do you think we have to accept the audit? I think it's something we paid them to do, so.
Yeah, I don't believe we have to have in the past.
Thank you to staff as well for clean books. Anything on this audit before moving on? right, moving on to minutes from the regular meeting from December 10th. I would entertain a motion to approve, or anybody have any comments? Motion to approve minutes from Ben.
Seconded.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. And then minutes from the special meeting from December 10th. Motion to approve the minutes from the special meeting. Ben's awake this morning.
I'll second.
Second from Deanna's. Any discussion? None, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Financials. Cool.
So we had a last minute change. We got the invoice from the city of Manistee for the city service agreement for quarter 1 and 2. So that did jump up the unpaid bills report by a little over $16,000. The new total is $39,760.43. That of course includes the city service for quarter 1 and 2. The QuickBooks, the Chamber of Commerce Executive Director fee, and quarter 1 economic development, Richards and McDougall accounting, and Spicer Group for their work on the streetscape.
Just out of curiosity, why do we have quarter 1 and 2 for city services?
They had a bit of a lapse in the invoicing. We'd kind of been asking, hey, just so you know, we haven't been invoiced. So they finally, I think, got on top of it.
So we pay in advance? So this is
Well,
for,
this starts in June.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, you said quarter 1 and 2, I'm thinking. Okay.
Quarter 1 and 2, I guess, there.
Okay, all right, thanks. Any questions on financials for Nicole?
Thank you for getting those interest rates. That's money market. We're checking.
Yes. So I asked West Shore Bank your question, and that is what they came back with. So yeah, board discussion on if there would like to be any action, or if we would just prefer to stick with Michigan class.
No, Michigan class is hands down better. I'm talking about the money that that sits at West Shore.
This is something that came up last meeting.
It did. I was interested in the interest rates that we're getting on the checking account. How much money do we keep in the checkbook on a regular basis? Can some of it move to money market? Or just a little bit better interest if we don't, we use that checkbook and 50,000 stays in it all year long. We're getting 0.1, or we could be getting 1. That's just how my mind works, that's all.
Yeah, no. Do you have any recommendations?
I would probably work with Nicole.
Okay.
Off channel here.
Okay.
Just to get an idea of like how the money flows through the checkbook, that's all.
Great.
Okay. And then bring a recommendation back.
Perfect. We do need to approve the financials.
The 39,000 for the city, is that,
39,000 total, not just for the city.
okay, for the expenses, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a little elevated.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the expenses.
I'll second.
Is that a motion to approve the financials or just the expenses?
The financials, my apologies, financials.
Lindsay,
I'll second.
okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Executive report.
So December was a bit of a lighter month. I was gone for the last 2 weeks of December, and so that's why the contact are just slightly down a little bit. Overall, was primarily focused on getting in contact with some of the key building owners, still working with the new Music Vault owner. They're currently engaged with an architect and engineer to continue with their redevelopment plans. They kind of understand the scope and the need of that building, what needs to happen to actually get that building activated. And so they're pretty eager to invest in that space. And so I think we could see some movement probably mid to late spring of this year. I know that they want to make it cash flow as soon as possible, so they're not looking to drag their feet on it. Otherwise, if you hadn't noticed, 350, the Don Tequila building, the top 3 rows of bricks started to pop in December from water getting behind it and breaking off. So I've met with that building owner, let them know that that really needs to be addressed, kind of pointed them towards a facade grant if they need it, if that's what's required to get that building in shape. But they had bricks falling, you know, in the middle of December. So that definitely wasn't great. They realized it was a problem. And so hopefully they'll come forward. I know that they mentioned they're working on a facade grant. But streetscape was also kind of the big priority, getting things completed in order to get a RFP out as soon as possible. And so that was the other big piece in December.
I forget the address for the music vault. I don't want to call it the music vault.
348.
348.
348, yeah.
All right. I wonder if they would consider maybe a proposal from the design committee to cover those windows with some current vinyl.
They would be definitely on board with that. I just question the expense of doing that because they're looking to replace those windows pretty soon.
Okay.
And so I think that's gonna be replaced prior to the peak season.
Okay.
And so I don't know if it'd be in our best interest to, go spend. It would be a lower cost, like $2,000
Yeah.
to get that done. We got it quoted by Urban Vinyl in the
Oh, we did?
past.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have quotes for those windows. It's just, I question the expense just with how quick they're looking to replace them.
Okay, good enough.
Has there been a timeline given for the Don Tequila building?
There's
Yeah.
not
Really
been,
high?
there's,
There's a lot.
I need to talk with Jerry and Bill on that because I met with the property owner, kind of just really highlighted the safety risk and I guess just the fact that it's not a good look for the downtown at all. But there are most likely, legal avenues to really put the pressure on them, through Jerry and the building department saying that this is a public safety hazard to have bricks falling. And so they understand that it has to get taken care of quickly, but I can talk to Jerry and Bill to really get a tight timeline and if needed, put some sort of penalty in place or pursue them in like a building code standpoint.
I think we need to stay on that because spring will be here before we know it.
Yeah.
That'll present its own set of problems. And so I was just, in conversation with other building owners around there that are affected by this. Yeah, like, when would there be this, like, this is your timeline, this is your penalty if not?
Or just to secure it.
Or fix, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to maybe do masonry work this time of year, but maybe there's something they could do just to secure it until it's.
Sure.
Do they still have it blocked off?
No, they removed the cones.
But the safety factor hasn't been.
No, that has not been mitigated at all.
Yeah, I mean, does that become a city liability? Because if somebody gets hit by a brick, they're technically on city sidewalk. Yes, the brick came off the building, but I mean, you would think the city maybe would say, hey, we gotta block this off.
Anything else, Andrew?
No,
Thank
we'll
you.
get into the rest of it within the
Okay,
agenda.
great, thank you. Reports from subcommittees, facade grant.
So for the Z-Cart rentals or 443 Water Street, they did respond to an email in early December and followed up requesting rewriting grant contract with them to get an appropriate timeline. There was no response until I called them yesterday, and that is when they kind of officially said, you know what, we're just gonna pull out, put the money back in, kind of done. So their grant is void right now. And so if they want to kind of pursue any building improvements with the facade grant, they need to reapply. And so currently their contract's void and they kind of officially pulled out. So that's where that landed. And then also just note for the facade program, the Elks and Golden Stag will be paying out in February for their MEDC monies. The Elks were really trying to get their materials together to get it reimbursed today, but couldn't fit that timeline. And so February is probably going to be a higher expense month for the MEDC grants, but we need everything paid out by the March meeting really. And so we'll have the Bluefish, Golden Stag and the Elks paid out probably in that in that timeframe.
Great. Anything with the streetscape, Andrew?
Streetscape, Spicer was planning on releasing the RFP for the RAP grant this Monday. However, they have internal quality control scannings that RFPs have to go through, and given all the kind of design changes, they just wanted another week to make sure everything was as tight as it could possibly be so we can get the most accurate quotes. And so they delayed that release until next Monday. And so next Monday will be the official release of that RFP. It'll be out for 2 weeks, and the bids will be opened on the second Friday in February at the city. And then come March, we'll have that design, or we'll be able, Spicer will give us a recommendation to which one to accept or approve. But realistically, construction was supposed to happen in the spring. Spicer's kind of getting innovative with how they're going to break up the construction cycle and that. So it's going to be, they're going to have to see what the bids come back as, but they kind of give it contractors 2 different construction windows, one in the spring prior to Memorial Day, which was our original intent, but then another period after Labor Day in the fall would be that other construction window. So they can do work in either window, but have to be complete before the year's end.
Okay. Target Business Committee?
So something I want to bring to the board, the Target Business Committee has been doing a lot of discussion recently about, small business attraction. And so Jamil kind of came up with an idea, and then I ran with it about doing something like a developer day for small businesses in the region that are ready to expand. And we would select 3 vacant properties and then invite small businesses, again, that are ready to expand from across the region into Manistee to tour those spaces, do a bit of a networking, and talk broadly about downtown Manistee to hopefully help fill those spaces before the peak season this summer. And currently I've had discussions with the director of the Michigan Downtown Association, as well as Southfield's DDA director, to just kind of talk through creating a spirit of collaboration with other communities in the area, so it doesn't come off as being poachy or predatory towards other communities' business. And so I have a contact list of other chambers and DDAs from Benzie, Frankfurt, Grand Traverse to connect with, kind of pitch this idea, and kind of hopefully get an event here in Manistee in the mid to late second quarter of this year, in which we would hopefully have the Golden Stag as a venue and then be able to invite, our goal is 10 to 20 small businesses. And so we'll need to probably invite 40 to 50 businesses to get that 10 number. But we think it might be an effective way to draw attention to downtown Manistee, help fill some of those key vacancies in downtown, such as 308 River Street, the old Kodiak building, or 380, which is the Ann's bookstore. And so some property owners who've really pushed for kind of our help to fill vacancies. We think it could be a really effective way of doing that. And so I just want to bring that to the board. And I guess, are there any questions or concerns on holding an event like that? We're not really requesting any budgetary amount from the DDA. It would just be, and there's going to be no public marketing. It's going to be very, very selective. Working with these other DDAs and chambers in their list of, hey, we do have a couple of businesses that are looking to expand out of our market, open that second location. And so we're not looking to broadcast this broadly, just openly. We want to do very targeted invitations.
I don't have any concerns. I think it's a good idea. It's a difficult thing, like as a small business owner, to think about opening another location. So I think it's a good idea to focus on it because those are likely candidates, but also, is there a way to not focus on, but also not lose sight of a new business altogether? But I don't know how you do that, but.
Well, I think we spent the first year in this committee and we were all over the board. We were talking about every empty space.
Yeah.
They were trying to narrow it down to businesses. So when Jamil came up with this idea, now we can focus on 3 buildings with 3 owners that are interested with help. And Andrew is, he's paring this list down to businesses we think would be viable in this community versus, hey, we're gonna open, fail, shut right back down again. So this is a very targeted approach that Andrew has put together. So,
Well, I think it's great. Maybe I'm just thinking of like other businesses in the community that might not be downtown that might wanna move downtown or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
Not that you're losing sight of that at all.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
No, certainly, and I think this kind of came out too of, there's a business in Cadillac called Serendipity, and they have a location in Big Rapids, and they just bought a space in Traverse City.
Gotcha.
And the question is like, okay, how do you attract somebody like that who's over the last 5 years opened 2 more locations?
Yeah.
Have they ever considered Manistee?
Gotcha.
Right, and so I think that this is the type of event where hopefully a business like that, where they've been aggressive at opening new locations, a local DDA or a local chamber would be able to say, hey, yeah, like this is our list of 5 businesses who have been just extremely successful.
Yeah.
And then in that spirit of collaboration, hopefully, we would say, hey, if you want to hold an event like this in your community, we'd be happy to share our list of local businesses who might be looking for another location that's outside the Manistee market, so they don't cannibalize what they have here
Yeah.
in Manistee.
Oh, you guys been meeting for a year already?
Probably under a year. It probably was in the spring, I thought that came
Okay.
about, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice job. Events.
So we do have a DJ's Block Party event application. It is mostly complete. The only thing that needed to be added is 2 more signatures. We were pretty tough on some past applications about getting all the signatures, even businesses that were outside the event zone. And so the only ones that were missing were Piping Plover and Riverside Toys, I believe. And so those would be the only 2. If we do want to make a decision today, we can make it conditional upon getting those 2 signatures, because those were the other 2 businesses in your event space who I didn't see the signatures for.
Riverside was closed when I went,
Okay.
and then, the owner of Piping Plover wasn't there, and I
Okay.
didn't wanna have her girl sign it, so
Sure.
I'll go back and,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, that'd be the only request I have to make sure it's a complete application and that it's the same as other event applications that we've requested in the past.
All other requirements were met?
Yes.
Okay.
well, this is super successful. I make a motion that we approve this application with the condition of those 2 other businesses. Signatures.
Great. Motion from Ben,
Second.
second from Sammy. Both, any discussion or questions? Lindsay, anything?
no,
Well, thank you.
but thank you for your support on those.
Yeah.
What's the date?
All in favor?
September 16th.
Opposed? Only heard one aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Also, just
We got a
to,
side conversation going on over here.
just to add to that, so it's, September 12th.
Was the 12th?
That is, Century Boat Club is having their big event, and I think it's like the 100th anniversary. So I talked with the gentleman who is helping organize that, and he may be reaching out to you, Andrew, about maybe closing part of the street down by the fountain. Cause they really wanna make a big deal about that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a really big weekend.
That
You know,
Tommy Holmes?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, yep.
Did he book all your rooms?
Yeah, he booked all of our rooms. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
It'll
it's
be a
gonna
big
a
event,
huge
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
All right, event company proposal.
So Nicole's been working on getting a couple of proposals from event companies per the request of this board, and you managed to get 2 proposals. The first one from Michigan Premier Events, and if you had reviewed that event proposal, it is very expensive, the first one, at $250,000, I believe it was.
220.
220, and so
And
just,
that didn't include expenses,
Yeah.
correct?
yeah.
That was my question, if that included like the cost of, you can pay me to do that. This whole year, I
Yeah.
could use a side.
Yeah. So I think just based on that price alone, I can't, don't really feel as that was a legitimate proposal. I think, for some of these proposals, it's tough to really nail down prices, and a lot of these companies are from downstate, so their interest in actually serving up here, maybe, they might just shoot for the moon. If we say yes, they win the lottery, but I think this was kind of a half-baked proposal that they were just throwing out there because of, just following up with us. But then the second one was more reasonable, at 45,000.
That's the word
Yeah, that's-
minimum.
Yeah, minimum
Yeah.
in there, and so that's also kind of questionable, because I know for that amount, it's not, we're not. This discussion came out of, do you hire somebody local, or do you go with a company because a company would be cheaper? At that rate, at that minimum, may as well just hire somebody local who can be a full-time staff member, fully focused in Manistee, lives here, knows the environment, rather than going for a proposal. And so just wanted to get those two proposals in front of you.
Was there a subcommittee for this?
The event committee did meet, and that's where Nicole was able to get a lot of the information for what events were listed in those proposals, because both of the companies required kind of more information on what events do you want? How much time have they taken in the past? What events are you looking to add? And so there needed to be a rough outline of those events, and that's where they got a lot of their like planning numbers, and total expense, and attendance was from that subcommittee.
So now what?
Open discussion, if there's any path forward that this board wants to take and exploring other avenues, we can do so. But I mean, I don't see either of these proposals as being legitimate avenues to increasing events in downtown Manistee.
Have we had an event coordinator before? Through the chamber or the DDA ever?
Not professionally, or not as a paid service, not that I can recall.
And then my next question is, what are other communities our size? Do they have an event coordinator that we're aware of? Is what I-
It's normally under, there's a blend that I see in other communities. It's especially of our size. A lot of it is driven by people who live in this community, business owners in this community. Those are who are teeing up the events. It is grassroots, locally driven. There's no formal organization to it. It's businesses are leading it, and then there's organizations that will do events. But so there's a blend of the grassroots and then the organizational piece where you have different organizations doing a handful of events. But I wouldn't say it's always on one organization. Chambers can fulfill that role. I've seen chambers in like Chelsea, for example. Their whole function is events in Chelsea. I know in Ludington, the Ludington is like CBB, DDA, chambers all wrapped into one. They do a lot with the DDA down there. They facilitate events.
Even if we brought someone in to hire inside that role, I mean, is the 4th of July, is the Christmas, downtown Christmas, December, are those committees even gonna give up the leadership role to someone else? Or are those committees gonna say, no, we run this on our own?
This will remain under the chamber.
So that we don't need someone to do that. The downtown Christmas thing, I doubt that committee is giving that up, so now we're gonna pay someone to start thinking of other events.
I think the city would gladly give.
Glad-
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a city
Yeah.
committee,
Yeah.
so.
I think if
So we-
Bill were here to speak on that, he would say we gladly.
So we're gonna have one big event for someone to get paid to oversee an event.
Now, Benzie is structured. I'm saying it's wrong, not Benzie, who's there, north of Bear Lake, the next one you come into is Beulah, downtown Beulah, thank you. We just looked at a building down there, and they're structured, they have an event committee made up of, I wanna say like a chamber, CVB, and then business owners, but then the business owners give money to this event committee. That's how they're funded. I don't know the structure of that, but they have an event committee that is funded. So is that kind of like what Ludington?
By
does?
the business owners.
Like Bear Lake promoters. So it's a group of volunteers in Bear Lake that host all the events. And they rely on volunteers and the business is there to get involved. But it's volunteer driven and, you know, people today they're less inclined to volunteer because time is money. And, I think that's what happens to a lot of committees that host things. I mean, I was never involved with Hops and Props, but it's my understanding it was a huge undertaking. In my days in NASCAR, our wine festival was a huge undertaking that took you away from our core business of racing. So at some point, something's got to give, I
Yeah.
think, with some of these local committees.
And that's so true, because so much of the time you have the same people giving up. You know, it's so true down here. We have the same people that do the fall festival that's going to do Frostbite, which we just got all the information on that, which I'll give you. But it's the same people, and those same people have businesses to run also. So I think that's what even started taking the talks away from having business owners downtown be the committee. That way, so with these numbers, I think we go back to looking at, you know, if we gave a local somebody a job, that would be another job in Manistee, and it's needed, like, we need an event coordinator.
How about we meet then as an event committee, we can search out, you know, options, because I also am interested in the Beulah conversation. If there's a group that's actually funded,
Yeah.
that would be an interesting concept. That might make it more sustainable. But I think we'll talk about options in the next event committee discussion then.
And then if we're gonna meet, I guess sitting as a board member, I'd wanna hear what the scope of that position looks like. Like, what events are they handling?
Yeah.
What is their job? What's their job description? I'd like to see that before.
Yeah, and I think that's where the event committee would need to discuss, you know, flesh out those details. And so there's an actual viable proposal to discuss, you know, in a clear direction to discuss, rather than just having speculation on, you know,
Right.
maybe an organization over
Yeah.
here or this organization would want to take this on. That's something that
Right.
would need to be discussed.
I think too, we also have to consider, like, from a strategic planning standpoint, is this something that the DDA wants to do?
Yeah.
Because currently it's not anywhere written that this is a goal of ours. And so taking some time to discuss it is one thing,
Yeah,
but making a decision or
Yeah.
who funds what,
exactly.
you know, right now we have sort of like an ad hoc structure where if somebody wants to do an event and it's important to them, like Lindsay, she takes it on, she does it. That's what makes it successful. That's why Hops and Props was successful, because it was done by people that wanted to do it. And
Right.
so just assuming that we have to have events and we're gonna pay somebody to do them for us doesn't make them needed, wanted, or successful. So I think, and also we gotta just decide if where's the DDA's role in this?
Well, to me, it'd be like, I mean, I've heard some business owners say, I don't want a thing else downtown. I don't want the street closed because it's limiting traffic. And then sometimes we do these events, no one comes into my business anyways. So I guess a quick little rundown through the downtown, quick survey says, would you be interested in something else? You know, another block party or another Century 21 or Century boat, you know. I think the people that are actually funding this should have a little bit of a say as well as part of your committee.
And if it's funded, who's funding it?
Correct.
Because I think that's the bigger question too. I mean, as we enter this budget season, obviously streetscapes are top priority, and
Mhm.
we will need every dollar we have to be able to fund that. We'll need to pretty much have all of our focus be on streetscape until it's complete.
Yeah.
And
And that's-
then we can diversify, you know, programming, but as of right now, streetscape needs to be the number one priority to get it done as soon as possible and actually make it financially feasible for us. So it would be a question of, you know, funding to what level does the DDA have the capacity or appetite to fund anything related to events?
But I think we can fairly say the communities that hold events in their downtown and drive noticeable, if, you know, notification or notices, drives people to their downtown are more successful downtowns. I feel like that
Well, what makes a successful
is a-
downtown?
Oh, so if we're looking at streetscape and we're looking at doing some more trees and beautification of downtown without driving more people to downtown, what's the purpose of, I mean, if we have 50,000 people that come downtown, after streetscape, we still have 50,000 people that still come downtown. Why did we spend the $200 million or whatever? Okay.
My only argument is customers and event attenders are two different things. And so just because there's people doesn't make it successful. I think we need to just
Okay, 4th
qualify.
of July and Sleigh Bell Weekend we can say that we've already proven that more people downtown does drive business. I mean, those are our best 2 weekends of the year.
For your business.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I wouldn't agree.
Ice
with-
cream, chocolate,
yeah,
you know, I
I would
mean,
not agree with that for
your business.
or
Okay.
Ben's business or, so I
Right,
just,
right.
I'm not saying it's bad. I just want to qualify, make sure we're talking about the same things here and that we don't just make assumptions that, more events is better. I don't feel that way, obviously, but I want to be fair in the conversation that we're considering all uses and all business types downtown.
Right.
It's like this is an extreme, you'd be like, hey, Jamil, you think it's a good idea to put a bunch of food trucks in front of your restaurant? You'd probably be like, nah, that's not so good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it brings a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
that's all.
agree
And
with that.
I don't want to be biased. I just want to make sure that we're hearing all the
Right.
That's
entities.
what I'm saying. I think a little survey, run down through town and say, hey, we're thinking about putting some more events down through here. How does
And
this
maybe-
impact you?
And maybe it's not the more events that we do. If you looked at the event list that we put together so that we could kind of get a quote from the event companies that we reached out to. Maybe it's not more events, but the quality of the
Quality
event.
events.
4th of July is a quality event. Nicole does an amazing job on it. Sleigh Bell is a quality event. They've added a couple more days to it, brings people, it increased hotel revenue, it increased hot chocolate sales, it just increased sales. I would say for those events, keeping the food trucks away, I'm guessing the restaurants benefited. So maybe not more events, but the quality of
Type
the
and
events
the
that we
quality.
have is
Let me
important.
interject.
Yeah,
So
please.
what I'd like to say is it may benefit Deanna, higher restaurants and so on and so forth, but I feel as if both Ben and Kyle, you might be affected in the long term where, I mean, your type of business, because for example, if I'm down here and I didn't know there was a business like yours or a hair salon or a, financial company it existed, I would catch that recognition. If I was walking down the street and I said, oh, I didn't know I could get this service done here.
Yeah.
Whether I'm buying a latte or an entree or whatever at that time, it may, the long-term effects of bringing more people down here, I think is a benefit to all of the businesses. The Airbnb, so on and so forth, they may not financially see it that day.
Yeah.
But they may be, oh, this is beautiful. I might want to come and stay the weekend here and then be aware of other business that is not necessarily retail or effectively that great. And also, we've got a couple aspects to consider
Yeah.
for all business.
Yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate that. I just want to make sure we're considering all aspects and not making.
Not that-
And we're just talking-
isn't true.
We just talk about the businesses. My question is, what is the your entity, sorry, Visitors Bureau? What's your thoughts on this? What's city council's thoughts? What's the chamber's thoughts? I'd like to hear some of these other organizations on their appetite for
I
something like
think
this.
programming is just one slice of a pie. I mean, having a downtown that's walkable, that's safe, that has housing. I mean, there is much more than just, hey, we're gonna host a parade, we're gonna get everybody downtown. That is a one-day event. Having a complete downtown that fits everybody. Some will say, well, let's put up some really fun lights. Okay, that's great, but is it gonna make people wanna come down here and spend their dollars? And that's what our job is. So it's more than just quality programming. There's much, much more, and the streetscape is a very big part of that. Some people say, well, I don't go downtown because I can't find a place to park. Well, there's plenty of places to park. Branding a downtown is important. So there's a lot of things to it.
Okay, good discussion.
Good discussions.
Thanks for continuing to work on it. Moving on to old business, Jennifer Flynn, Seeds, Eco Corp.
So Jennifer wanted to make it today, couldn't put it other, and so just wanted to talk broadly about Eco Corps with the proposal that was in front of you in December regarding just some beautification efforts in the Riverwalk as well as the DDA parking lot. And so that'll be rescheduled to another time. That's something that, there's been general support from the Parks Commission, the NRBC, DPW. And so something that to continue to explore, and that proposal is still something that wouldn't be completely, we wouldn't put the entire bill for that. That's something that we would call on partners to help with.
So to be
To be
rescheduled.
continued, yeah.
Okay. Vacation mode wrap up. Nicole.
The program has officially ended. All of the cards that were handed out expired December 24th, 2025. We had the total redemptions of $11,771.63. In December alone, there was $1,325.72. So the DDA will be receiving a refund because originally we had wrote the check for the full 5,000 contribution. So the chamber, we will be writing a check back to the DDA for the funds not used. And then something I put together was the most redeemed months. So September, we saw the highest, then August, July, December, June, October, November. Most of the, let me scroll up here. The top 5 businesses for the program are all in downtown Manistee. Snyder Shoes, Glicks, the Golden Stag, North Channel Brewing, and the Ramsdale Inn. So overall, I would say it was a very successful program. It definitely boosted the use of Manistee County cash. We saw about 27,000 in total used in 2025.
Somebody didn't use their whole gift card at Authentic 231.
Sorry about that. Next time. Nicole, do you have an idea of where these people came from? If they were locals, if they were actually from Chicago or the region?
That I don't. I think in the initial, when they won the gift card, they had them sign that thing, but I was not given those by the airport.
Okay.
We're gonna do this again.
That would be up to the board.
The airport board, right?
Well, it will be a conversation of getting all of the entities back on board to do it again next year. So, I mean, we can work on it. I know Adam Don's officially led that and he is no longer in a position to lead that. So if the board would like to, I can start conversations.
Well, you said we needed all of our money for streetscape.
Well, this money's already doled out. I was gonna say, let's earmark it to do it again.
I mean, we only saw about 2,500 of the 5,000 used for this program.
Cool, thank you. New business.
So the budget calendar, just wanted to put this for you to lay out what city council timeline is for getting the city's budget in order. We have to have our budget material into Ed Bradford by March 13th. And so it's officially budget season. Nicole's already worked pretty hard on getting a preliminary budget written down and outlined for anticipated expenses next year. The budget committee is going to meet over the next couple weeks.
Is that the executive committee?
So I was doing the same last year, so it was gonna be yourself, Sammy, Ben, because I know Dee, you had subbed out, or Ben had substituted in for you. I didn't know if you wanted to keep that structure this year. If you do, I'd be.
So Sammy, Ben and I.
Yes, that was the structure last year plus Bruce. And then this year, just be the 3 of you, unless you want to change that.
I don't have it as, I'm happy to reappoint that unless anybody wants to also be included. I'm happy to include another person. Okay, we'll keep it at 3+. Well, you certainly still can have an opinion. This is just like,
Yeah.
and honestly, Nicole does most of the work, so.
Thank you, Nicole.
She really does.
So let's get one scheduled as soon as possible so we can, I mean, if you've already been working on it, Nicole, then.
Yeah, it's pretty done. Got a couple different versions of it. One is very conservative with streetscape in mind.
Yeah, excellent. Make it happen.
Then we do have the Eagle 101.5 summary from this year that Mark Stansted provided. The total commercials that were provided through July to October was 1,305. The total impact of the campaign was $30,433. And so we've done this now for how many years has it
This
been?
might be the third
Third year?
that I can recall. It might have gone on longer.
Yeah, third year, and so businesses who participate seem to very much so enjoy it. There's 24 participating businesses. And it's a lower dollar amount, and obviously given the impact, I view it as a success. I don't know, any comments? I just want to put this before you.
Do we anticipate, Mr. Sandsted coming back?
Most likely for this season, I would imagine, unless we told them otherwise that we weren't interested in continuing.
So one thing, I mean, just with the budget in mind, if we truly are trying to put everything towards streetscape, we could, I mean, it's 2,000, it's not a lot. We could say, hey, we support this, but if it wouldn't be a big deal to shoulder that, to spread that through the rest of these businesses. If we wanted to take a year off, so. It could still continue without the DDA's financial support.
Sure.
It wouldn't impact it, the cost of it that much. Just a thought.
Yeah.
I know it's only 2,000, but it's just a thought. 2,000 could buy like a few brick pavers. Okay. I guess we're back to public comment. Anything to say, Gordy?
Not today.
Thanks for coming.
I think we're working on property there from the tribe. From Cypress.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Somebody is working on the property at the Cypress Division.
Oh, okay.
I thought I don't know, did you already
Yeah.
that?
Sorry, I forgot to mention that actually in the executive report. Yeah, so Little River Holdings, they've officially put fencing up on that site. Swiderski was on site yesterday installing that, and we can expect dirt being moved in the next week or two.
Would that be, could we call that actual groundbreaking?
No, because it's the remediation. It's not gonna be the construction work, if you will.
Moving dirt though.
Yeah, moving dirt, so probably will get people excited, removing a couple trees, remove a couple of down power lines.
Okay.
For whole power poles, and so there'll be movement on the site.
Great. Board member comments, Sammy? Good. All right, Lindsay?
Thank you.
Dee?
Just frostbite coming up. The date will be February 21st. Just heard back from John Faber today. They will be partnering with us at the Outsider, so excited about that. So that's the only thing I have coming up. More to come.
Are you chairing that? Ben?
Part of it. Yes.
Okay. Who's their chair?
So it's myself, Denise from Redeemed, Julia, and Lorenda Kraus has joined our committee this year.
Ben, anything?
I'm sure we say it, but I don't say it enough or mean it enough. We appreciate both of you. Nice work.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, I might as well just go 100% today.
Thanks.
I'll second it right with Ben.
Extra credit. You good? Rest of your week?